What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, as you guys can see up on the screen. Today, we're going to be talking about the LEC playoffs. In this video today, we're going to be going over what happened this past weekend, how we got to where we are today, and then also we're going to be previewing this upcoming LEC finals weekend. It is going to be so fun. It's going to be so exciting. There's going to be a ton of hype matchups, obviously starting out with G2 and Rogue in kind of the semifinals match, and the winner's going to be taking on Mad Lions for a shot at an LEC title, that trip to MSI. I mean, this whole LEC playoffs has been so fun, so exciting. I mean, there's been so many crazy upsets, matchups, crazy games, and it's all going to be leading up to this. The one kind of weird thing is this weekend that obviously there's not going to be a Friday game. It kind of has been nice, the whole playoffs, having a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like 3 days of really hype, intense playoff action, a ton of best of fives, a ton of, honestly, just really high quality gameplay. The LEC playoffs overall have been really good. This week, only 2 days of action, but it is going to be really high quality matchups still, at least we hope, so it should make up for it a little bit. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second and smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, just helping my content, my videos, everything get out to more and more people. That would be absolutely awesome. Also, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. I know we're getting, relatively close to 7,000. I think we're above 6,500 now, so 7,000 is the next goal. So, yeah, help us out. I know there's a lot of people that watch my videos that aren't subscribed for one reason or another, so I would appreciate it a ton. With that being said, let's get right into this one. The LEC playoffs we had last week. We started out with this matchup right here. I don't know why we have, that was like a black gray color. I don't even know. Let's go with red. We started out with this matchup here between Schalke and Fnatic. And there was a lot of Fnatic fans saying that, yeah, even though Fnatic hasn't looked great this year, even though Schalke looked good against G2, even though it was a little bit of a close series, people were saying, oh, Schalke just trolled. Fnatic is going to be all right. So many Fnatic fans on Twitter, in my comment section, all over saying, this is what happens to Fnatic every year. Sometimes we have a good regular season, sometimes we don't, but Fnatic in the playoffs, Fnatic in best of fives, always finds a way, always steps up. And I'd been telling them over and over again, like, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but, you only do that until you don't. And it's a really hard position to be in, and you don't want to constantly be in that position every year. And yeah, Fnatic has had rough regular seasons sometimes, like they did this year, where they've even had similar records to what they were able to accomplish this year. But this is a different Fnatic team. This is not Reckless. This is, yes, Upset had a very good season, but you'd still say overall it was a downgrade at the AD carry position, because Reckless had a great year this year as well, and he had always been, the heart and soul Fnatic. Maybe an upgrade in the mid lane, but I think over the course of this season, it's been at best a side grade, and I think there's an argument to be made that Nisqy was potentially a downgrade over Nemesis. But then also, just looking at each of the individual players, I would say Bwipo is a downgrade over himself last year. Selfmade has been a downgrade over himself from last year. Hylissang has definitely been a downgrade over himself from last year. So saying this Fnatic team, which is going to roll through the playoffs, just the only reason that I heard Fnatic fans coming up with was because it's what we always do, because it's what we've done before, and so yeah, I mean, we're just used to it. We're gonna do it again, which I think is fine. It's good to have confidence, and if some of your players can have that confidence stuff, that's okay. But you have a lot of guys who haven't done that before. Nisqy did not have the best reputation of being super clutch over in North America or showing up in big games. Upset hasn't done the things that Fnatic has been able to do as an organization, as a team before. Even Selfmade hasn't been here for a lot of that. So I definitely didn't have as much faith that Fnatic was going to make some kind of deep run. I believe, pick them to win over Schalke, because I thought Schalke, in the match against G2, I thought it was more G2 playing bad than Schalke playing good, but Schalke put a beat down on him. I mean, Schalke with an absolute 3-0 to knock Fnatic out of the playoffs was pretty crazy. It's kind of sending Fnatic into this, weird, awkward situation where they finished 5th in the LEC playoffs. If they want to try and make Worlds, if they want to do something good, they're going to have to consider roster changes. What are they going to do? Is it a coaching issue? Is it a player issue? Do they need to make changes? Would changes even help? Would changes make it worse? Would changes make it better? I think everything has to be on the table. They also have 3 expiring contracts, I believe, in Bwipo, Selfmade, and Hylissang at the end of this season. So if a lot of those guys aren't going to be around for the future anyway, I don't think changing one of them heading into the summer split, or 2 of them, or maybe even all 3 of them, who knows, would be that bad of an idea. So yeah, this is a crazy series. Obviously, this is where we saw Fnatic get knocked out. They're a big organization. They have a big fan base. And it was crazy. I think a lot of people were expecting Schalke to win, but to win 3-0 like they did, I mean, that was tough to watch for a lot of Fnatic fans, I'm sure. Then we got into the G2 Mad Lion series on Saturday. This one was also crazy. Obviously, G2 came out with 2 kind of unconventional drafts in the first couple games. I thought they could have potentially worked out, but they didn't. Mad Lion suck it to them. Then in the next 2 games, we got to see more conventional or typical drafts, and Mad Lions still, came out 1-1 in those games and looked really, really damn good. The meta fits Mad Lions so well right now with a ton of team fighting. Carzzy is playing way, way, way better than he did in the regular season. Arma and Elyoya are very, very rock solid players. Humanoid is a beast as always, and Kaiser is really stepping up and kind of being that MVP caliber player that Mad Lions needs to be if they're going to want to make it to MSI. So yeah, they knocked out G2, obviously, over into the semifinals. So that was pretty crazy, kind of unexpected. But then Rogue against Schalke, we were going to kind of see, because now that after Mad Lions had beat G2, Rogue losing 3-1 to Mad Lions all of a sudden didn't look so bad. People were kind of flaming Rogue for getting knocked out into the losers bracket after their first game and losing 3-1, and people were saying, oh, is Rogue not legit? Are they overrated? Were they overhyped? Whatever. But it turns out, no, Mad Lions is just really good, and Rogue losing 3-1 to Mad Lions, and same as G2 losing 3-1 to Mad Lions. So, obviously, Rogue was able to come out, still look really, really good against Schalke, and they were able to move on to the semifinal against G2, which this is going to be such a banger of a match. So now we can get into this next weekend, looking at the predictions. Again, the Saturday game, G2 versus Rogue. The 2 best teams throughout the whole regular season, they had very, very good records. They never really slumped too hard. Yeah, they were inconsistent here and there. Yeah, they had a bad game here or there, but overall, the 2 most consistent, highest level teams in the LEC. I think they are the 2, honestly, probably most talented teams as well. Mad Lions, when all their players were playing well, they are right up there with them, but I think just like pound for pound, player for player, I think G2 and Rogue have the 2 most talented lineups. But again, Mad Lions, the meta fits them really, really well right now. They're also just playing really, really well. They're stepping up when they need to. They have a good read on the meta. They've had good drafts. They've had good gameplay. And that gets them to the finals. And it has G2 and Rogue in this, bad position where their backs are kind of up against the wall. But unfortunately for Rogue, and fortunately for G2, G2 matches up so well against Rogue. We've seen over the last year or two that Rogue has, I believe Rogue is like 0-11 against G2 or something. Like, I don't even think they've taken a single game off of G2, partly because of matchup issues, partly because G2 has just been so dominant and so talented that anyone has a pretty bad record against G2 over the last year or two, except Mad Lions seems to always find a way to, give them good games. But then also, I think part of it is like the mental block and the mental hurdle of, just facing G2. And also when it's a team that you've struggled up against, and even with bringing in Oduwamne this year and having maybe a little bit better of a team than Rogue has ever had, G2 still was pretty easily able to handle them in the regular season. And then also the things we've seen this week where Jankos is talking about stepping up and being a leader for this team. He's not streaming this week. Wonder said that, the joke of he's going to uninstall WoW, and he's grinding solo queue. He's playing a ton of games. G2 is motivated. They seem ready to go. Also, are they going to come out with the same drafts? Do they think those past drafts with like Karma, AD Carry and stuff, do they think that stuff was good? Or have they found out that it's maybe not so good and now they're going to come out with even better, more conventional drafts and stuff that they know they can maybe just beat Rogue with head to head? Either way, I think this matchup, because of just the matchup between G2 and Rogue, I think heavily favors G2 in general. I think they just match up really, really well stylistically, and they always have played very, very well against them head to head. I do think G2 is coming in this series with a big advantage. Also, I think a motivated G2 is very, very scary. Obviously, G2 is no stranger to the losers bracket. I believe they said that every time there's been a losers bracket, G2 has made it to the losers bracket and then obviously ultimately gone on and won the championship still. So getting knocked out in the winners bracket to a random team in a random game is no surprise to G2. This is no shocker that they've been here before. Maybe they're even saying it's their losers bracket comfort zone or whatever. But this is a very, very clutch team. This is a team that always performs with their backs up against the wall. They are the most talented team in Europe. And again, I don't think Rogue is going to have many answers for them. I think Rogue is very, very good. I think they're a fun team to watch. I think they're very talented. And honestly, I hope they continue to develop because I think ultimately, in the end, I think Europe could have 3 very, very good teams at Worlds between G2, Rogue, and Mad Lions if they continue to develop and get better into the summer split and don't just kind of stagnate from here. But in this matchup, I am going to be going with a 3-0 for G2. I think they just are so good. I think they're going to really come out and want to make a statement, and I don't think Rogue is going to have many answers for it. I think Rogue has had an amazing season, and they've been the second best team for most of the split. If they end up third, that sucks. It just kind of sucks how it worked out that they matched up against Mad Lions in the first round, but that's the advantages of getting the 1 seed. So I do see Rogue going home. I would be very, very shocked if Rogue wins this. If they win like 1 game, that would not shock me at all. I don't think they're going to be able to take 2. I definitely don't think they're going to be able to take 3. I do see G2 moving on to the grand finals, obviously over in the LEC, and having a G2 versus Mad Lions rematch, which is going to be crazy. Again, Mad Lions has always kind of been a thorn in G2's side. I know last year when they were this kind of like more younger up and coming team that was very, very fun and exciting to watch, they, gave G2 trouble, and they have always been a team to match up well with them, and that's going to be tough, and G2 is going to have a big, big hurdle to overcome, but I also think this is going to be so hype. It's G2 against Mad Lions. We've seen this before. We know how fun these games are. These are two aggressive, crazy, crazy teams that are just going to, they're going to bang. They're going to absolutely go to war, and it's with an LEC title on the line. It's with MSI on the line. This is G2 with Reckless. This is G2 that's supposed to easily make it to MSI and compete for an MSI title. They're supposed to easily make it to Worlds and compete for a World title. And then there's Mad Lions, who had an up and down regular season, had pretty low expectations coming into the playoffs. People are like, oh yeah, hopefully they qualify for Worlds. Maybe they're the third best team in the LEC. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're fourth or fifth. Maybe Schalke is better than them. Maybe the Fnatic's better than them. People didn't really know coming into the playoffs. But again, this team with Carzzy playing like this, with Humanoid playing like this, with Kaiser playing like this, and Aloya and Arma being as good as they are, this is a dangerous, scary, scary team, and if they continue to develop into the summer split, as Arma and Elyoya get more experience in the LEC, as Kaiser and Humanoid kind of regain their old form, this team is going to be very scary and very, very dangerous. This is a team I could absolutely see finishing over Rogue in the summer split. But as far as this matchup goes, it's going to be so hyped. Viewership's going to be insane. It's already an LEC final, and it's a rematch between a series that we already saw was very, very good. So many people want to see G2 lose. So many people want to see G2 win. They have the G2 fans. They have the old Reckless Fnatic fans. They have the Mad Lion fans. They have the G2 haters. This viewership is going to be absolutely insane if this is the finals we get. And I hope the games are great. And I think the games are going to be great. But again, coming into this with G2 being as motivated, with their backs up against the wall, knowing they have something to prove, that is very, very scary, and that is very, very difficult for me to pick against. Again, I think this meta fits Mad Lions so well. I think they have such a great read. I really like their draft, but I've also loved how they've been able to execute in these games. I think they have looked honestly so good and way better than I would have expected them to look coming into the playoffs. They are really performing well. They're proving people wrong. They have a great mindset, a great attitude, but it is so difficult for me to pick against G2 in this situation, knowing the quotes we've been hearing them say, the things we've been hearing them talk about, and just knowing how talented this team is. And again, just like with Fnatic fans saying, oh, we always do this and we always, make it to the finals or whatever. I don't want to fall into that trap of, oh, G2 always does this. They always make it to the losers bracket and they always win, because that's a bad position to consistently be in, and eventually it's not going to work out, and that's not something you want to keep doing. Eventually, you want to just run through the winner's bracket and win a title if you are really the best team. You should be able to do that. You should be able to focus up. You should be able to just be ready to go and take care of business. And, G2 shouldn't make it this hard on themselves every single time, and eventually it's going to bite them in the ass. Eventually, they're not going to qualify for MSI. Eventually, they're not going to win the LEC title, and it's going to hurt, their prospects going forward into Worlds and everything, not having that international scrim time and stage time and practice against some of the best teams in the world. But I don't think it's this time. I do not think it is this split. I do not think it is this year. I cannot pick against this G2 team right now. I do have a 3-2 victory. I hope we get a 5-game series. I hope we get a ton of bangers. I think it's going to be so fun. I think the games are going to be so hyped. The casters are going to be going crazy. The fans are going to be going crazy. The chat, everything. Viewership is going to be huge. I am so hyped, so excited. I cannot wait for this, and I hope we get a 5-game series, and that's what I think we are going to get. G2 3-2 over Mad Lions in an insane 5-game series, obviously with G2 headed to MSI, because ultimately that's what I want to see. I want to see how this G2 team does internationally. I want to see this G2 team up against Damwon, up against FPX or EDG or whoever we get out of the LPL. I want to see G2 against Perkz and Cloud9. I want to see all those big games, and Mad Lions would be hype and it would be cool, but it's not going to be as hype as G2 going to an international event like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. And honestly, just analyzing the games, I think this is a very, very realistic outcome as well. I don't think this is too crazy of a prediction. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are my LEC final playoff predictions for the matches upcoming this weekend. It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy this video. I would appreciate it a ton. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment down below. What do you think is going to happen? Who do you have winning the first series? Who do you have winning the second series? And who's headed to MSI? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!